videos about it. She has published a controversial book about it, and now more sex. This time in a sex. This time in a new movie called Body of Evidence. It's a story of a sadomasochist who's accused of murdering her lover during, and perhaps because of, intimate encounters. Another vehicle to test the outer limits of sexuality? Valerie spoke with Madonna about her successful, controversial career this weekend in New York.
I was looking again at Camille Paglia's book today. First 2 chapters about you, talking about you as the future of feminism.
I think she's changed her tone.
I don't think so. I talked to her a month ago, and she said, Madonna and I, she now includes herself, we're strong, we're sexual, we're hot, and this is the future.
I think she wants to sleep with me.
When you hear that, do you think, yeah, you know, I'm empowered, I'm strong, I can buy that, I can believe that?
Yeah, I do think I'm strong. I think, I mean, I'm flattered that she thinks that I'm a feminist and that I stand for being, you know, for women's rights.
And a role model.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've talked a long time, you know, for years about pushing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you're interested in doing and sort of forcing people to think about things.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the last year or so, a lot about sexual repression, saying to people, this is you're sexually repressed. Do you think it's working? Do you have any sense of
well,
getting your message
talking
across?
about it? Yeah. I think right now everybody's sort of, whatever, you know, claiming to be shocked. I think that what's indicative of the hypocrisy of the culture that we live in right now is the fact that everyone said all these terrible things about my book and how disgusting it was, and yet everyone went out and bought it. So what does that say about society, you know?
What do you think it says?
I think it says that most people are very interested in eroticism and sexuality and fantasies, but they're ashamed to admit that they are, and I'm trying to get people to not be ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not happen overnight, it may not happen in my lifetime, but I think that I've had an effect.
Has that been a theme from the beginning? I mean, is this a continuum, or is this just something a couple of years ago you go say, yeah, I'm interested in that. Let's push that one.
Sort of, as an artist, it sort of evolved in terms of issues that inspire me, that I'm interested in sort of delving into and exploring. So, I mean, I didn't set out wanting to be the sort of spokesperson for sexual liberation, but here I am.
Are you almost at the end of that, or do you think there's more to be done? Are there other aspects of it that interest you? No, but you've done a book, and yeah, there is more then.
It's never ending. I mean, I think we've got a long way to go with all the isms, with racism and sexism and all that stuff. There's still a lot of, I mean, it's all based on ignorance and fear, and people need, unless people know and unless people are made to understand, they're afraid. And when you're afraid, you behave in a defensive way, you know, sometimes in a violent way. So I think that there's a long way to go, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to, you know, keep making books and this and that. But I think that there's always going to be probably there's always going to be a rebellious nature to something that I do. I don't know what arena that will be in. But I'm just by nature a political person that challenges people's ideas.
Tell me about acting. I mean, you've been acting for a number of years now. Do you have a sense that this is becoming more important to you, more of a focus for you?
It's always been important to me. I just decided to really concentrate on it right now at this time in my life.
So how do you do that? You say, give me roles, give me jobs?
Well, by doing it more instead of concentrating so much on my music career, you know, and touring and this and that. I'm developing projects for myself and just getting more into it.
Do you think you're good? Do you enjoy it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Overruled. Answer the question.
I never heard his name before I met him.
You never saw his picture in the paper?
I don't read the paper.
Is it your sworn testimony that by coincidence alone, you happened to date both Andrew Marsh, who died from a combination of sex and drugs, and the doctor who treated him for drug poisoning?
Portland's a small city. I even dated a man who dated a woman you dated.
Do you think you're capable of just answering the questions put to you?
I'm just trying to explain myself.
Now, people are fascinated, as obviously you know, by your life. You know, what kind of life do you have? When they watch Truth or Dare and the line about, you know, she doesn't want to live off camera, much less talk off camera. I mean, can you have a normal life?
Well, that was Warren's opinion.
No, I know, but can you? Do you feel you can have a normal life? Can you go home? Can you read? Can you cook? Can you do gardening? I mean, what can you do that sort of grounds you in, you know, apart from the role of rock star, pop star icon?
Spending time with my friends, going to the movies, reading, going out to dinner. Stuff everybody does.
Mm-hmm. How do you preserve, how do you save some of yourself when people are always grabbing pieces of you?
You just, because the more life you live, the more you know, the more of a person you become. There's no way that you could, like, cut yourself open and expose every aspect of yourself. There's always something left.
Madonna.
If Madonna grabbed your attention with her racy video erotica or the bare her soul photos in her sex book, it's nothing compared to her new movie, Body of Evidence. Directed by one of her favorite filmmakers, Uli Edel, it features Madonna nude in several scenes, making love with Willem Dafoe in handcuffs and on top of broken glass.
I wondered if the book Sex, doing the pictures for that in any way could prepare a person for what happens.
Absolutely not. No, because the book was like my own thing. It was a very controlled environment. I was surrounded with people that I worked with a lot, that I knew very well, that I felt very comfortable, almost like my family, you know. And most of the pictures I'm alone, and it's a much different situation. I have to interact with people that I don't really know that well. There's a room full of 50 crew guys, you know, with, like, you know, hammers and walkie-talkies, and you don't know anybody, and you know, it's a lot more difficult.
Some fans have said the controversial video, then the book, and now the movie were all part of a triple whammy plan by Madonna to keep her name in the news. But she says her work is not that well orchestrated and that she doesn't plan as much as people seem to think she does.
In terms of everything that you do, people just dying to see what the next thing is that Madonna is going to do. How's she going to look, and what is her hair going to be, and makeup and her clothes and all of this. And I thought, does it come from your imagination, or are there other people who come up and say, why don't we try a Marilyn look, or why don't we, you know, tweeze down the eyebrows, or, you know, do a whole new thing?
I think it starts from my imagination, but I think that I choose to work with people that are really creative and imaginative themselves, and so a lot of times it's a collaborative thing. A lot of photo shoots I do, or even the book, or videos, songs that I write, I'll come up with ideas, but then other people always contribute, and I'm open to working with other people. So it's always a combination.
As risque as Body of Evidence is, some scenes ended up on the cutting room floor to give it an R rating instead of an X.
I felt that the love scenes were a very integral part of the storytelling, and I thought, oh God, they're going to hack them to bits, and they're going to make it really boring. And then when everyone's talking about my unconventional sex life, everyone's going to see the sex scenes and go, what's the big deal? But when I saw the R rating, I mean, they didn't really cut that much out. I mean, they just kind of shortened everything, so it wasn't really a big deal.
Madonna is already preparing to shoot her next dramatic film. Cameras roll in February on Snake Eyes, in which she will star with Harvey Keitel. Body of Evidence opens Friday.
What did she do to you, Frank?
Elaine Loring, Global News, New York.
How did you get those marks on your chest?
Put your clothes on, Madonna, for God's sakes.
Offended by her open sexuality, but then goes out and sees her movies and buys her book.
I think it says that most people are very interested in eroticism and sexuality and fantasies, but they're ashamed to admit that they are, and I'm trying to get people to not be ashamed. And it may not happen overnight. It may not happen in my lifetime, but I think that I've had an effect.
Madonna also brushes off talk that she'd finally overexposed herself.
There's no way that you could, like, cut yourself open and expose every aspect of yourself. There's always something left.
The Body